Welcome, everybody, to Rumba 1061's first Friday in June in honor of Pride Month, sponsored by Xfinity. I'm Lorraine Ballard-Morrill, Director of News and Community Affairs for the 6 iHeart stations. This is an important panel discussion on Latinos, the Latinx community, and the LGBTQIA plus community. We aim to explore the unique experiences, challenges, and triumphs faced by Latinos within the LGBTQIA spectrum. And so joining us here, we have a number of outstanding speakers. We begin with Martin Alfaro. Martin Alfaro is an amazing individual in the community. He's also associate publisher at Philly Gay News. Gianfranco Rizzo Castillo is coordinator for Gale in a program called Prioritizing Our People, or POP. Gale is a queer and trans, Black, Indigenous, and people of color radical social justice organization. Starting out as a Latinx-facing organization, it has now expanded to a BIPOC organization. Nikita Sin-Moreau, drag performer and show girl. She was Miss Continental, Miss Metropolitan Continental Plus 2024, former Miss Gay New Jersey, former Miss Pennsylvania Mundo Latino Plus 2023. Asia Monroe, house mother for the House of Monroe. She's a top drag performer and has won every title in the city that you can win as a drag performer.
Mi nombre es José Urdaneta de Rumba 106.1 y estamos aquí en esta mañana en el primer viernes de Rumba 106.1 en honor a Pride, al mes del orgullo Pride, que está siendo auspiciado por Xfinity. Tenemos aquí con nosotros a una serie de importantes figuras de nuestra comunidad, como lo es Gianfranco Rizzo Castillo de POP, que es Prioritizing Our People, priorizando nuestra gente para Gale. Gale es una organización radical de justicia social queer y trans, negra e indígena y de color, comenzando como una organización de cara a Latinx, continúa sirviendo a esa comunidad mientras amplía nuestro abrazo. También tenemos a Nikita Sin-Moreau, quien es una artista drag y espectáculo girl, Miss Metropolitan Continental Plus del 2024, ex Miss Gay New Jersey, ex Miss Pennsylvania de Mundo Latino. También tenemos a Asia Monroe, correcto, quien es también una top artista, performer del mundo del espectáculo. Ha ganado todos los premios posibles que se pueden ganar aquí en la ciudad de Filadelfia. Así que estamos muy, muy contentos de tenerla aquí con nosotros. Y tenemos a Gianfranco, ya lo mencioné, a Gianfranco. Y a él lo tengo en la próxima página. Edit that out. I think that's it. So I did miss someone in Spanish, but te tenemos aquí con nosotros.
Okay, we'll figure it out later. Well, let's begin with I think one of the most important questions, and that is related to people's attitudes towards the LGBTQIA plus community, particularly in the Latino community. Gianfranco, or Rizzo as you like to be called, you grew up in an environment that was hyper-masculine, anti-queer, and followed religious practices very closely. So tell us about your own experience. What were the cultural stigmas and challenges that you experienced in your journey, and how can they be addressed?
Hablando específicamente en la aceptación, esta pregunta es para Gianfranco o Rizzo, como te gusta que te llamemos. Tú creciste en un ambiente hipermasculino, antiqueer, y seguiste muy de cerca las prácticas religiosas. ¿Qué estigmas o desafíos culturales enfrentan las personas latinas LGBTQIA+ dentro de sus propias comunidades y cómo se pueden abordar?
Creo que es más apropiado en hablar en español para esta pregunta. Para empezar, yo crecí en un ambiente donde mi propio padre me decía que la mujer solo estaba para hacer lo que se tenía que hacer con ella. No había un ambiente donde yo tenía guías para discernir qué era lo bueno o lo malo, la verdad. Sí me llevaban a la iglesia los domingos, sí seguía esas prácticas, pero una vez yo salí del closet con mi papá, inmediatamente me llevó a un burdel. Entonces son una de esas cosas donde yo propio tuve que aprender. Bueno, también tengo un hermano mayor que es gay. Entonces, en ese aspecto sí me ayudó a como seguir los pasos y no caer en esos ambientes donde como no tengo un guía, no tengo un libro, no tengo a quién acudir, hago lo que yo quiero o tal vez pierdo años de mi vida tratando de encontrarme. Pero ciertos aspectos dentro de eso creo que me han ayudado a seguir un buen paso. Em, no hablo con mi padre aún, o bueno, desde hace un par de años. Em, esa relación subió, bajó, no, nunca hubo like, how do I say it, middle ground, nunca hubo eso. Entonces llegó un punto donde yo simplemente seguí con mi vida. No, a veces hay ciertas personas que son familia, pero no te guían, like, blood isn't thicker than water sometimes. Entonces, a veces esas son las experiencias que uno decisiones que tiene que tomar. Um, Porque mi vida, you know, estoy casado 4 años, mi madre me acepta, mis abuelos fueron los primeros que me aceptaron. Entonces, al final, uno solo siempre tiene que seguir adelante. Eso es todo lo que puedo decir.
You know, what Rizzo said, and I'm going to go to you, Nikita, were the challenges that he experienced and, you know, eventually finding his own community, his own found family. But I think when we talk about the Latinx community, we can't make any blanket statements about that community. And in your case, while you had some challenges, you had a different kind of journey of acceptance. Can you share that with us?
Absolutely. So I came out as a gay male in 2010, but then I came out as a trans woman in 2021, I believe it was. And when I told my family that I wanted to start hormones and started that hormone therapy, it was where they didn't know what it was. They were more scared of what the outside world was going to do to me. And it was more about fear. But my father, a very masculine male, he treats me as his daughter, like he will introduce me as his daughter, which is what I wanted. My grandmother that's my heart, so she's always going to accept me, and then my mom accepts me as well. Of course, I have siblings that also accept me, and then I also created that family that, like Asia and my other queer sisters and brothers that I have that accepted me. So I never faced that problem with my family, my blood family that didn't accept me. So I don't know how other people feel about it, but I do hear stories about it, if that makes sense.
Sure, absolutely, it makes sense. But we're happy that your family found a place of acceptance for you, and that's a beautiful thing. Asia, you are house mother for House of Monroe, and share your story as well. Was it a challenge? Was it easy? Or in between? Tell us more.
So, just like Nikita, my family has always been accepting. You know, I was blessed. I was adopted. I'm a first minority person in my family, let alone queer person. And I always like to say, just like I have to accept myself and it takes time and understanding. And I say the same thing goes for the people that support you. I knew from a very early age, I wasn't different, but I was unique. And in middle school, I came out as gay, and, you know, I navigated through life and, you know, educated myself on our culture and stuff like that. And as I dove into drag and really did some self-reflection, I, you know, decided to start transitioning, and now I've blossomed into womanhood and I haven't looked back. And I think that it's really great for us to be together. You know, we're highlighting Latinx today, but also as POC people, members of the community, we all have a lot to take from one another and learn about one another. And that's what, you know, that's what helps us get through those tough times when people aren't so accepting, is that we have our family, our chosen family there to uplift us and, you know, support us.
Yeah, beautiful. Martin, everybody's coming out story is unique, and we've seen the whole range from very accepting to not so much. Tell us your own story. What was your coming out story?
Well, I feel like I relate a lot to your story. Coming from a Latino background, you know, the Latino community is a very much like macho sort of mentality. And I can't imagine what it would be like to like if I were to be like trans, and come out to my family. Like that would be like insane. And just like my own experience as coming out as gay, it was like really really tough. Like to this day, like I think about it, and it's been interesting to see my family's evolution also, in like how this has changed their own mentality and like how they think of our community. My family at the beginning, my mom was like pretty accepting, but it was like a topic that you don't talk about. It's just like, oh yeah, it's there, but it's ignored. It's not something that you share at dinner time. Or they don't ask you about your partner or whatnot. But over the years, I've seen that they're kind of changing. They're more accepting. They see that all we want is like to be like everybody else. There's it's not like we want to be better than anybody. We just want to have the same rights and to love whoever we want, just like the same way our parents love each other. So it's it really gets me emotional because it's such a long journey too. Like to this day, it's still a tough thing, but I appreciate like their willingness to listen, to learn, to become more accepting, and to open their eyes and see, what's out there in the world. They also live in Florida, which is, a very tough place to live, with, the rhetoric and everything that you hear, the politics and all of that. But, they see what I do. They see, the people that are around me, and they support me. And to me, I don't want to like think of like the past, even though, we kind of have to in order to move forward. But I understand that it's a journey, and that's not how they grew up. So at the same time, it's like really tough for me, but I also understand, and I'm willing to walk the walk with them.
Beautiful. Rizzo, let's talk about resources, because I think a lot of the challenges in every community is you don't always know what you don't know. Gale has started out as a Latinx-facing organization, but now you're expanding to all BIPOC and trans organizations and queer individuals. Tell us more about what Gale does, and also anyone who has any additional resources they'd like to share, please jump in.
So Gale's history is part of that, yes. It started as an education coalition for AIDS in Latino communities that were affected by the AIDS crisis in the 90s and 80s. Overall, since I started 3 months ago, I had to do a lot of learning very quickly. But we do serve a lot of services in the community nowadays. We are sitting at the heart of Kensington at 118 Fontaine Street. We are open 12 to 6 from Monday to Friday. We offer all kinds of services for trans, queer, gender non-conforming people, intersex people, black, brown, trans, in between. Everybody that can come into we also serve everybody. So at the end of the day, it's more so a community service. We have a food pantry. We have clothes closet. We offer SEPTA passes. We have a whole client log of, we create events. We have one-on-ones. We do counseling. We do linkage to care, HIV education, HIV prevention, condoms, lube. We do all kinds of resources. And also we produced Pride. So it was also the largest Pride in history.
That Pride
we
was
received
awesome.
over 100,000 attendees.
Yeah.
It was crazy. My day started at 5 and it ended at 10 p.m.
There was a lot of dancing going on.
It was a lot, but it was worth it. It was a lot of fun. We're also behind Our Fest, so, it's coming up soon. But I'm sure some of y'all have heard of Tyrell Brown, so shout out to Tyrell. He's my boss, executive director of Gale. We wouldn't be able to do this without them.
Yes.
So,
yeah. Rumba was very proud to be on the corner of 12th and Pine at the Gale stage. And DJ Jonathan and DJ Kiko tore it up. Let me tell you, that was, I can't even begin to, that thing was on fire. But Martin, you had something to add.
Yeah, well, first, like, congrats on like
thank
all the amazing work. I can't believe you're still here. I would need like a week's vacation at least.
We had
It's
off.
Yeah,
I'm
good.
off today still.
Well, I was gonna share that I actually went to Gale to get my COVID vaccine when there was like no vaccines anywhere. And just like Gale, there's a lot of other nonprofits out there, even like city departments. But I think that the challenge is resources. I don't know how big your team is, but I know that it's very small and mighty.
Very small.
And like, so how do we support them more? How do we get more resources? And obviously, you have to get support from the state and federal government, even though the politics of it makes it a lot challenging. But I think it's important to talk about the amazing work that you guys do year round, and with the limited resources. Like, it's insane how you make that happen. But there's other places like Mazzoni. Again, it's those places exist, but if you want to get an appointment, it takes like 6 months. That's insane. So we need more access to those types of orgs.
I agree.
Yeah. To Nikita and to Asia, I'm just wondering, just how do you feel about where we are? And really, this is for everybody, honestly. There's been so much blowback. For instance, there is, this whole thing about drag reading hours, and there's anti-trans, anti-LGBTQIA legislation out there. As far as we've taken 10 steps forward and 8 steps back, I wonder if you can kind of just your own opinion about how you think the state of the state is regarding the LGBTQIA plus community. Go ahead, Asia.
So, I always say who I am off stage always carries on to on stage. And, it's more the less I always view the hate as ignorance and uneducated people. And sometimes, sometimes people may say the wrong thing, and I have to take a step back and, decipher whether if it's because they just don't know proper terminology or they're just being plain ignorant. And I'm pretty sure we can all make the assessment sometimes. But as far as everything goes, and especially with Pride, we as a community, it's our time to really highlight who we are as a community. And I think that it's, it is very challenging, being, certain events that we get booked for, they even say, well, there's going to be heavy police, and, and it makes you kind of think back to, I'm just reading a book to an 8-year-old about, rainbows and ducks, and it really, it's baffling to think that, what we do, and especially, how we are reaching out to the youth is, we get so much backlash, but they don't even take the time out to educate them on simple things such as like ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. And and especially with a lot of the anti-trans and queer bills being passed, it is very scary. I still to this day, I really don't like using public bathrooms, not only because of the hate, but just also people are nasty. So, I take that, and I just have to take a deep breath and just remember that I deserve a place just like everybody else. And, that's what the true meaning of Pride is just waking up every day, thinking that you're still waking up, and just going out and living your life as a normal person, as if, we don't have to have all these labels and stuff like that. But, they do make us unique. And I think that with a lot of education, the world can come around. Even though there is a lot of hate in the world, I think that there is still hope for change.
I love that. Nikita, did you want to add to that?
Basically, she said everything. It's more piggybacking on education. The people that have hate towards the LGBTQIA community is because they're not educated. In our standpoint, we're not looking at kids as sexual things. We're just doing our job. We're just educating, because those kids can look at us and be like, we're going to be that one day. And then they have to realize that their family, the way they're treating us, is going to treat them. As far as trans hate, there was a time when we were getting our name changed where it was where it was scary, because we didn't know if it was the mayor at that time that they were electing. That I think it was the mayor, that we didn't know if they were going to stop that. So they were rushing to get our name changed because we were in that process of
Didn't know.
we didn't know if
You
it was
could
going to
do it.
happen.
Yeah.
Even walking into the thing in the building, there was people that were like, well, are those dudes? And we're like, well, it's okay. Like I don't care. You could call me whatever. At the end of the day, when our sister passed away, Valencia Prime, we did a news article,
Yes.
and the comments were, "Oh my God, they're so gorgeous, but they're men. Oh my God, they're going to hell. X, Y, and Z." And it was like, okay, we're not even here for that. We're here because one of our sisters passed away, and we're just giving an article on why she passed away. But it's based on education. Like, it's all about what they're taught at home is how they're going to teach on the streets. And that's how I was. My family didn't play that. And yeah.
Yeah, no, beautifully said. Yes, Age, you wanted to add something.
I also just want to piggyback off something and give a highlight to Rizzo and, Gale and all the resources. I think that it's also really important to acknowledge that we do have amazing community members at these resource places. And I think that as a community, sometimes we're just so tunnel vision. We don't take a step back and really to take the time to listen to our community members to really see what they have to offer. So I also think that, educating and understanding also comes from within the community, and sometimes listening to what they have to say, I think, is really important to make sure we utilize and use those resources for the good.
Right. Yes, Rizzo.
I really appreciate that. I was gonna add one of the reasons and like main things why I got into this kind of work. I was in Delaware for 5 years. I went to school and all that. Delaware's just dead. Sorry to Delaware out there. Sorry to any Delawareans out there. I needed to get out of there. I always wanted to move to the city. And between my husband and I, we always came to the drag shows, and we always loved, and one of my favorite people to go see was Icon Ebony Fears. And she's also one of my coworkers and also a Guinness World Record holder because Philadelphia holds the largest drag story time reading at 263 attendees.
Nice.
So that's massive. And being able to share this space with somebody who I looked up to, but now also work alongside her is just one of the greatest things in the world, honestly.
Fantastic. Martin, you talked about Florida. Don't say gay. I mean, there's so many things in Florida that are anti-LGBTQIA. So again, what is your point of view in terms of where we are right now?
Yeah, well, I think, just reflecting on Pride Month, I think we have to remember how Pride Month started, and why we're doing this. And I think that even though, it's a scary time, we feel threatened. And I think that this is a time where we rise up and we talk. We have to take advantage of the platforms, such as these, to talk about what's happening and say, we're not going anywhere. We've always been here and we always will be here. So.
Yeah, I'm wondering also, moving forward, in terms of the politics of LGBTQIA plus rights. There are a lot of people that are scared right now, and a lot of people are thinking that their vote doesn't matter. And I wonder if you could maybe reflect on how you see us organizing more effectively to support the LGBTQIA plus community.
I'll take this one in Spanish. How about that? Creo que lo que tenemos que hacer es continuar primero educando a nuestra familia y nuestros amigos, que son las personas que están más cercanas a nosotros, porque de ahí comienza. Tenemos que contar lo que está pasando, cómo nos sentimos y cómo esas leyes, esos politicians van a afectar nuestra vida si nosotros no salimos a votar. Entonces creo que comenzando primero en tu casa, con tus amigos, tu familia, y luego salir y también buscar organizaciones que ayuden para sacar a la gente que salga a votar, que sepan lo que está pasando y que sepan todas las amenazas que afectan a nuestra comunidad.
Rizzo, did you want to comment on that?
What Martin said is very important. Starting localized is probably the way to go. You know how people say, oh, don't worry too much about the presidential election. Worry about the local election because that's the one that's going to change your life. Start there. So I think it's very important, educating your friends, family, peers closest to you, even the people you work with. You know what I mean? Sometimes you can think, oh, my coworkers are not my friends, but sometimes you end up with them for a longer period of time. Mm-hmm. and you kind of have to have that need to respect yourself. And like, you know, because I have clients at Gale, you know, immigrants that have just a month, they're a month here and they're working already. And it's like one of the things that we have to talk about is queerness in the workplace. How do you disclose that you're queer to people that you just met, or people that don't even speak your own language? Like, that's kind of the conversations where you start, where the people around you need to know that you either need this validation for respect and not even tolerance, because we don't tolerate just tolerating each other. Like, we need respect, you know what I mean? So I think it does start there, like close to the people that you love or that you are, you know, on a daily basis.
There's so much we can talk about. We could go on for several more hours, but I did want to allow each of you to present a message, because I'm sure there are going to be a lot of people watching and listening who are not, who are scared to be able to come out, to be able to share with their family, friends, community, who they are. And I wonder what would you have wished that someone had said to you when you were going through this process of becoming who you are? Asia?
Oh, thank God I don't have mascara on, because if I lose it, it's the allergies. Well, if I were to hear, you know, that message to my younger self, you know, you're going to go through a lot of uncomfortable periods of times and hardships, but, you know, there's always something to look forward to. And, you know, oh Lord, deep. But, you know, it's just, no, there's nothing that you cannot do in life. And life is so short, and you just have to go for it, and you have to ask yourself the questions first before you can get the answers. And, you know, just of course the cliche, follow your dreams and all that stuff, but just really, more importantly, just love yourself. And as soon as you do that, people will love you too. All right, here you go, Nikita.
I love it. Nikita?
Oh my God, this is such a drag race question when you're in the top four. Something that I wish that my younger self could hear is that you're always going to be loved. Even if you're not loved by your family, you're going to have that outside family and that queer family that you look for that love, and you're always going to be loved. But also that you will be a support system to a lot of people. And that's what I realized that I am now. I'm a support system. I'm also a voice for, of course, the LGBTQIA community, but as the trans Latinx community, because that's what I am. And there's a lot of younger me that that would love or are scared to become what they are. So it's more, yeah, I can't even, this is such a drag race question. It's like I can see a little picture of me in the background of my old self, child. I don't know what we're going to do.
Oh, you're so funny. What would I tell myself? I would probably just tell myself to stay smart, read as much as you can, educate yourself on the things that matter, not the things that don't matter, because there's a lot of things out there that don't matter.
Can you say it in Spanish too?
Yes. Una de las cosas que me diría a mi ser más joven es mantente inteligente y edúcate en lo que más puedas, en los problemas que importan y no los que no importan. Porque hay bastantes cosas allá que no importan.
Martin?
Yeah, you stole my answer, because I was going to say, I was just going to say that, you know, at the end of the day, no matter what happens, like, life is way too short. You know, you've seen so many people who wish, you know, they could be here. And I was at an event last Sunday where someone shared that her father was gay and he was closeted. And he died in his 60s. And, you know, she said that she was this woman that I don't want to mention, but she said that she came out because of that. She's like, my father died, you know, from AIDS, by the way, and he never came out. And she's like, that kind of, you know, that was the impulse that I needed to come out. So you know, at the end of the day, like, you have to look out for yourself no matter what happens, and just go for it. Life's too short.
And I'm going to also ask you to let us know how to be in touch with you, how to find out more about Philly Gay News, any other resources that you'd like to share.
Yes, thank you. So you can follow me on all the socials, Martin Alfaro TM. And please follow Philadelphia Gay News. EPGN is our website, epgn.com. We're also on all the social media platforms as Philly Gay News.
Okay.
Thank you.
Rizzo?
Hi. You can follow me on Instagram at Rizzo_1811, or you can find Gale on the on all search engines. You just type Gale and we'll be there. All our staff members are there, and so yeah, we also have business cards. I wish I had brought some with me, but
That's okay. And what's the website exactly? Because I think not everybody knows how to spell Gale.
It's www.galeqtbipoc.org.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
All right.
qtbipoc.org.
Gotcha.
So you'll find us there.
Nikita?
So y'all can follow me on Instagram at Nikita_Sin. It's 3 N's because I'm extra. You can also follow my drag career all over the tri-state area. I actually have a show tonight with my mother, Asia Monroe, at Taboo Sports Bar and Lounge, where our family hosts every first, second, and third Friday. We're there, and you can also find me in New York and New Jersey. I also I will be on the board for the Beacon Light Fund, which is the pageant that I won, which was Miss Gay New Jersey. So I stepped down, and now I'm about to be a board member. So yeah.
You can catch me everywhere and anywhere. You can catch me at Taboo Sports Bar and Lounge, Bob and Barbara's, Level Up, all over the place. You can catch me on Instagram at the Asia Monroe. That's TheAsiaMonroe, because you always get a show with Asia Monroe. And I ask that you don't follow me, but you believe in me.
I love it. I love it. Thank you all so much for being a part of Rumba 1061's June 1st Friday in honor of Pride Month. Thanks to Asia Monroe, House Mother for House of Monroe, top drag entertainer, Nikita Sin Monroe, drag performer, showgirl, Miss Metropolitan Continental Plus 2024, and so much more. Gianfranco Rizzo Castillo, otherwise known as Rizzo. He is the Prioritizing Our People coordinator for Gale, a queer and trans, Black, Indigenous, and people of color radical social justice organization. And of course, we have Martin Alfaro, CEO and founder of Alfaro Media Consulting and associate publisher of Philly Gay News. I'm Lorraine Ballard-Morrill.
And I am Jose Urdaneta. Thank you so much for being with us.
Gracias.